If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195.
Oh, wow. So he would go all the way from 40 to 95?
Yeah, I mean, it would be an exhibition.
Tank Davis or Jake Paul. So, immediately, yeah, a normal layman would say, oh, Tank Davis is better. But better at what?
Jake Paul is unequivocally the most successful fighter in history 4 years in. No one comes close. No one.
The Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis fight has reportedly been confirmed. Jake mentioned it will be an exhibition, with nearly everything finalized. The bout is set to happen after Tank's rematch with Lamont Roach. The announcement has stirred massive excitement, with fans eager to watch these two stars finally clash in the ring. Promo videos are already prepared, and both camps are ready to make it happen once the rematch is done.
195.
Oh, wow. So he would go all the way from 40 to 95?
Yeah, I mean, it would be an exhibition.
Okay. But, and so what does that mean? Is that 3-minute rounds?
Yeah, 10 3-minute rounds.
And when you say exhibition, like, what are the restrictions on that?
No restrictions, just the fact that, like, we couldn't actually get it professionally sanctioned.
Okay. Is that still of interest to you? Like, if he wins the rematch and you beat Julio, is that of great interest to you later this year?
For sure. Like I said, big events. And, you know, when we had announcement videos filmed for Canelo and for Gervonta, like both filmed and fully edited. And my team went into the streets to ask people what they thought of me versus Gervonta. Every single person was like, Gervonta would kill Jake. He's going to die, all of this stuff. And so just proving people wrong and changing the narrative and showing people that I'm a better boxer than all of these so-called pound for pound.
Jake Paul's win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. marked a major turning point in his boxing career. The victory earned him a place among the top 15 cruiserweights, a remarkable feat for someone once written off as just a social media personality dabbling in boxing. With this ranking, champions can no longer dismiss him, as defending their titles and credibility may now require facing Jake in the ring. His rise from exhibition fighter to legitimate contender shows just how far he's come in such a short time.
So now that Jake Paul won his fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he's apparently ranked top 15 cruiserweights in the world. And apparently, I guess now, world champions are able to fight voluntarily to defend their championship against Jake Paul. Which, if I'm being honest, that's kind of crazy, bro. Isn't that crazy? Right? You're telling me you fought somebody that's not a natural cruiserweight, right? And now you're automatically ranked top 15 and you could fight a couple of world champions and it makes sense. Not that I think he beats any of them. I'm gonna be completely honest. I can't see it, bro. If Jake ends up beating somebody, yo, shout out to him. He finessed his way to the fucking top and a world champion and really like cemented himself into the history books. But the way that he boxes, he's just very sluggish. It's kind of slow. You know, I think any cruiserweight world champion, even Badu Jack, will defeat him. And I actually don't even understand why he even wants to fight Anthony Joshua, besides the bag, obviously. But what do you guys think, though?
The idea of Jake Paul facing Gervonta Davis has been circulating in boxing circles for a while. Never one to hold back, Jake used the post-fight press conference at Mike Tyson's event to challenge Davis directly. This wasn't just for publicity. It showed his confidence and his willingness to target elite names. Ongoing talks between both camps have only fueled speculation, adding another layer of intrigue to the sport.
We're an interested observer on the Netflix event, Paul versus Tyson.
Why wouldn't you even want to fight him? And who told Mike Tyson to fight anyway?
Is Jake Paul someone you'd want to take on at one point?
Yeah. Tell him, this is my call out. Jake Paul, what up? What up, Jake Paul?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
Tyson Fury, never shy about sharing his views, weighed in on the potential matchup between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. He noted that many assume Tank is the superior fighter but posed a key question: what truly makes Tank better than Jake? Fury praised Jake's promotional talent, emphasizing how Paul turns every fight into a major spectacle. His knack for drawing fans, driving huge pay-per-view numbers, and sparking global interest is something few fighters can match. Fury's comments highlight the fact that boxing is just as much business as it is skill.
Fantastic event. Anyone who don't think it's a fantastic event is jealous. Who's better, at Tank Davis or Jake Paul? So, immediately, yeah, a normal layman would say, oh, Tank Davis is better. But better at what? Is he better at selling tickets? Is he better at selling stadiums out? Is he better at creating controversy? Is he better at getting followed on Instagram? Is he better at putting more eyeballs on the boxing? Is he better than him at that? The answer would be no. But is he better at him in a fight? It has to be really, you have to break it down. You know what I mean?
Jake Paul's rise goes beyond his performances in the ring. His promotional skills have transformed how boxing is marketed to today's audience. Through social media, brand partnerships, and platforms like Netflix, he has introduced new ways to engage fans. In doing so, he's opened doors for other fighters and brought spotlight to athletes who might have been overlooked. Even seasoned pros recognize his ability to generate buzz, pack arenas, and turn fights into high-stakes spectacles.
Paul is unequivocally the most successful fighter in history 4 years in. No one comes close. No one. You couldn't list one that comes close, including Brock Lesnar if you include his WWE career. 4 years in terms of what he's done in terms of box office, pay-per-view, impact, helping other boxers, because he had platform, he had awareness, and he's got the focus and discipline to drive with.
When fans compare a potential Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight to Logan Paul's exhibition with Floyd Mayweather, the differences are clear. Jake has demonstrated stronger boxing skills and a deeper commitment than his brother. His size advantage over Tank adds another layer of intrigue, while his improving technique, power, and composure under pressure make him a more credible threat. This wouldn't just be an exhibition for entertainment. It could serve as a true test for both fighters and a legitimate sporting event.
Davis versus Jake Paul exhibition match was going to take place after the Lamont Roach fight, until Tank drew with Roach, leading to a rematch. Now, I'm going to say the unpopular opinion here, but the size difference would have been way too much. I mean, even if Tank brought Jake down to 190 or 200 pounds, he would have still been way too big. I mean, no matter how good a lightweight is, they would have almost no chance against a cruiserweight or heavyweight ranked top 200 in his division. And I'm sure people are going to bring up Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul, but Logan is just not a good boxer relative to Jake. You know, Jake's been training for a couple years, he's had over 10 pro fights, and Mayweather was also junior middleweight in this fight, not a lightweight like Tank. But that being said, I'm glad Tank and Jake isn't happening. You know, it would have been a fun spectacle, but I'm not the biggest fan of the exhibition stuff. And instead now Tank and Roach will be rematching in June. You know, the first fight did a little over 260,000 pay-per-view buys, which isn't bad in this market. Roach absolutely deserves a second fight, so I do think the rematch will do far more numbers. And as for Jake, I want to see him fight big-name boxers around his weight class. You know, the Tommy Fury rematch, for example, he's undefeated. The first fight did a little over 800,000 pay-per-view buys. He's around the same age range, so that's the fight I want to see, not the exhibitions. But let me know what you guys think.
The debate over whether Gervonta Davis would accept a fight with Jake Paul continues. Supporters argue that, as a prize fighter, Tank should chase the biggest paydays and take on such challenges. However, his decision to turn down Shakur Stevenson's offer from Turkey Alshik, reportedly because he didn't want to fight in Saudi Arabia, has raised questions. Many fans see this as proof that Tank is selective about both opponents and venues, suggesting a fight with Jake may only happen if the conditions align perfectly with his preferences.
Prize fighter, I know a lot of you guys say, well, he doesn't fight for belts, he doesn't fight for legacy, he fights for money. He's a prize fighter, Jerry. And I'm going to assume a prize fighter is a guy who is solely making fights based off of cash reward. He'd rather fight a bum for $50 million than fight a guy who's experienced for $10 million. That is what a prize fighter would be. Actual definition, a professional boxer who competes in matches for money prizes. So let's take a look at it. Turkey Alshik has declared he wants to make Tank versus Shakur. He says, my plan for Shakur is this fight. He's referring to Floyd Schofield, then William Zepeda, and then let's see if Tank wants to be in our show. Tank's not going to fight Shakur. He's not going to fight him in Saudi Arabia. So now that we've established Tank isn't a prize fighter, because if he was, his career resume would look a whole lot different, then we must ask, what is Tank's goal in boxing? I'll tell you right now, it's easy money. Tank is the type of guy, he'd rather fight, let's say, 4 Lamont Roaches for $20 million than fight 1 Shakur Stevenson for $80 million, which is fine. But I'm tired of people saying, oh, he's a prize fighter. That's why he's not taking these fights. He's not a prize fighter. The biggest money fights is Haney, Ryan, Tio, Shakur, and Loma. He's not even going to take half of those fights. So please, guys, all my Tank fans, all my guys who claim Tank is a prize fighter, that's why he's not fighting for the belts, please stop it. This guy's not a legacy fighter. He's not a prize fighter. He's just a guy who enjoys easy paydays. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Just stop misleading people with your comments.
Gervonta Davis, who competes below the lightweight limit, has often been encouraged to move up in weight to truly test himself. But a matchup with Jake Paul would mean a massive leap. Jake fights around 190 to 200 pounds, a completely different level. For Davis, this wouldn't just mean adding weight. It would demand a total shift in training and strategy. The sheer size difference would make the fight unlike anything he's ever experienced.
Take on it. I've been saying for a while that Gervonta Tank Davis needs to go up to 140 and challenge himself. Now, a lot of the fanboys, you Gervonta Tank Davis fanboys, called me a hater for that because y'all just don't get it. And I don't really blame fanboys. Fanboys are followers. So when you hear somebody talk with his own mind, talk like a leader, they're immediately unidentifiable. So you guys see him as a hater, all right? The truth of the matter is, Gervonta Tank Davis is a big-time predator. He's a big-time predator who needs to hunt big-time game. There are fighters who are just generational talents, right? And those fighters, they must get it all, have it all. And I know a lot of you guys would see it as money, right? Because y'all just not made of that stuff. And I've been trying to say it in live streams. I've been trying to say it in videos. I've been talking about boxing in a way from a perspective of big-time fighters, big-time legacy, and what makes a warrior from when they're small. Gervonta Tank Davis has been a beast for as long as he remembers. From a little kid, he's been a beast.
Despite his popularity and skill, Gervonta Davis isn't ranked in the top 10 pound for pound among lightweights, surprising many who see him as one of the division's top talents. This raises questions about whether a fight with Jake Paul would elevate or damage his career. Could it serve as a fresh challenge that boosts his reputation, or would it be viewed as a sideshow that distracts from his legacy as a serious fighter?
Pound for pound fighter right now. He's arguably not even in the top 10 pound for pound right now. Despite how cool this picture is, it does not get him into the pound for pound list. Even though we could say that he could probably beat everyone in the lightweight division, even though I think he loses to Shakur, he hasn't done it, and he probably isn't gonna do it. But what would it take for him to get to the #1 pound for pound spot? Let's go over what he would have to do to reach #1. Well, first off, he'd obviously have to go undisputed in the lightweight division. And even though that would be great, I think that only cracks him like #4. Because the only one in the top 10 pound for pound in the lightweight division is maybe Shakur. But realistically, he's gonna have to do more than just go undisputed in the lightweight division. So obviously, he'd have to go up to 140 because there's no way he's making 130. And then he'd have to beat a dude like Teofimo, and he'd probably have to beat Devin Haney as well. And I think that could probably get him the #1 spot. But yeah, we can sit here and say Tank is one of the best pound for pound fighters right now, which I think he's one of the most talented, and I think he could do most of what I said. However, hypotheticals aren't going to work with pound for pound.
According to Jake Paul, a potential fight with Gervonta Davis would only happen after Davis handles his rematch with Lamont Roach. The bout is a pivotal moment in Tank's career, so it's natural for him to focus there first. Once that chapter is closed, both fighters can seriously consider facing each other. Fans are eager to see if this long-discussed matchup finally comes to life. Meanwhile, Jake's victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has already earned him praise from respected voices in the boxing world.
Sure. How real, or what was to it with you and Tank actually being a thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
Shane Mosley praised Jake Paul's movement and overall performance, acknowledging the hard work he displayed in the fight. In contrast, he criticized Chavez Jr.'s approach, calling it strange and suggesting that Julio might need to consider stepping away from boxing. The stark difference in how the two fighters were judged highlights Jake's growth and Julio's decline.
We joined with Sugar Shane Mosley, Jake Paul, getting a unanimous decision over Chavez Jr. What are your impressions, Shane's, of how the fight went and how, especially Junior fought?
Well, first of all, I think that Jake Paul fought a great fight. You know, he moved around the way he's supposed to, throwing great punches, and for the experience he had, he did fantastic. Junior, on the other hand, he didn't throw any punches until the third or fourth round or something. He was just kind of walking forward, and I don't know what he was doing. It was weird. It was weird to see that type of fighting, but anywho, that's not Jake Paul's fault. So Jake Paul did what he needed to do, and he won, and he looked good.
Now, where do you think Junior goes from here, in your opinion, Shane?
Junior needs to retire from here.
Junior needs to retire.
He needs to retire. I mean, if you can't throw any punches in 2, 3, 4 rounds, you need to retire. I mean, if you can't, what are you doing? What are we doing? You just living off. Basically, you're living off your father's name. That's basically what you do, because you didn't fight until the last round, maybe last two rounds, and threw some punches, and you had some success when you threw some punches. It's the weirdest thing ever.
After his victory, Jake Paul delivered a clear message to his critics. Many had questioned his toughness and claimed he couldn't handle real competition, but his performance proved them wrong. He absorbed shots, stayed composed, and emerged victorious. This win wasn't just another notch on his record. It showcased his growth as a boxer and marked the point where he could no longer be dismissed as just a celebrity dabbling in the sport. With it, Jake earned new respect and silenced many doubters.
Now, in round 9, the heat really turned up. Did you feel the Mexican power that he promised, or do you feel like he didn't perform the way you thought that he would?
No, yeah, he brought a hard fight there at the end, and that's that Mexican warrior style. I don't know how he was eating all those punches, to be honest. My hands low-key hurt from his face, and so respect to him. He had good cardio, and he came on strong at the end. He's a very, very strong guy, had a lot of power, but people underestimate my chin and my ability and my toughness.
Jake, Jonathan Agger of Pro Boxing Fans. During the week, you had a viral interview with Piers Morgan where he said that he didn't think that you would beat Chavez. He felt like when you fight a former world champion, you'll come unstuck. What did you prove to not only him but other people that have criticised you?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words, so people can sit behind their desks and sit on their TV shows and say a lot of things about my career, but everyone's tuning in, everyone's watching, and I just continue to...
After Jake Paul's impressive win, Rayo Valenzuela congratulated him, adding credibility as an active fighter with real insight into the sport. He noted that Jake's performance proved he belongs among the top 15 or 20 in his division. Recognition like this from within the boxing community is a major step forward, showing that Jake is no longer seen as an outsider but as a competitor who has earned his place through hard work and real results.
Oh, great fight. Julio's back after all he's been through, so, I tip my hat off to him. It's not easy, especially through, when life throws at you sometimes, but, it was a good fight.
What'd you make of how Jake Paul looked and fought?
He's doing his thing. Jake Paul's looking good. Shout out to him. Yeah.
Do you think he's ready to fight maybe a top 15, top 20?
Sure, yeah.
So I guess where does Junior go from here in your opinion?
it's up to him. He can retire if he want, or he can have another, fight like this. Fight a YouTuber or something. Yeah.
In terms of you, Rayo, when can we see you back in the ring?
I'll be back in the fall, hopefully.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for more.